Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started.
Hey my friends, how's it going? Big news from the Formula One paddock today. The separation between Red Bull and Christian Horner has barely been confirmed, and already the former team boss is being linked to multiple new destinations in Formula One. And not just as a traditional team principal, rumors suggest Horner may be preparing something even bigger, buying into a team. According to the respected outlet Auto Motor und Sport, Horner has been showing interest in purchasing Haas, which many see as the most vulnerable team on the grid at the moment. Gene Haas has often been described as open to selling, at least in part, if the right offer comes. With Horner's massive severance package from Red Bull, reportedly worth up to $100 million, speculation is growing that he could use that payout as seed capital for such a move. But Haas isn't the only possibility. Reports now connect Horner to Aston Martin, a team that has been aggressively expanding its structure under Lawrence Stroll. In fact, Aston has become one of the fastest growing organizations in Formula One, luring top names like Adrian Newey, Enrico Cardile, Bob Bell, and Andy Cowell to create a world-class technical base ahead of the 2026 regulation changes. With such momentum, adding someone like Horner to the mix naturally sparks conversation. Here's the interesting part. Horner's severance agreement does not include any restrictions preventing him from immediately joining another Formula One team. That means, unlike some contractual exits where people are sidelined for a year or two, Horner is free to negotiate wherever he wants. Naturally, this has fueled rumors across the paddock, and journalists pressed Aston Martin team principal Mike Crack about the possibility this past weekend. Crack avoided a direct confirmation or denial, saying only that Horner is taking a pause for now, but acknowledging his love for the sport and pointing out that his results speak for themselves. He closed by saying he would personally love to see Horner back in Formula One soon. Of course, the real question is, what role could he actually play at Aston Martin? Right now, it seems unlikely that Horner would walk directly into the role of team principal, since Andy Cowell only recently took on that position in January. Instead, the more realistic option would be a role outside the cost cap, similar to the advisory roles held by Helmut Marko at Red Bull or the late Niki Lauda at Mercedes. Horner could act as a consultant, strategist, or even take on an equity stake within Aston Martin to influence its long-term growth. And the timing is interesting. Aston Martin's project is laser-focused on becoming a true frontrunner by 2026. They already have Fernando Alonso providing experience, Lance Stroll as part of the ownership family, and a facility in Silverstone that rivals the best in the sport. For Horner, stepping in now could allow him to shape a team ready to challenge at the very top under the new rules. But on the other side, Haas presents a different type of opportunity. Rather than joining an ambitious but already structured team, Horner could take control of a smaller, struggling team and reshape it completely under his vision. Many analysts point out that buying Haas could give Horner both autonomy and the chance to prove that he can build a team from the ground up, just as he once did with Red Bull in the mid-2000s. So the question now is, which path makes more sense? Does Horner join Aston Martin as a high-level advisor or shareholder, plugging into a strong project with momentum? Or does he gamble on Haas, attempting to transform the team into a future powerhouse? What's certain is that Christian Horner will not stay away from Formula One for long. The man who helped lead the Red Bull to multiple championships clearly still has the hunger for the sport, and whether it's Aston Martin, Haas, or another project, his next move could reshape the balance of power on the grid.
Hey my friends, how's it going? Today we're diving into one of the hottest topics of the season, Lewis Hamilton's tough start at Ferrari. After 17 rounds, the 7-time world champion has yet to score a single podium, something almost unthinkable for a driver who spent more than a decade accustomed to fighting at the very top of Formula One. This underwhelming performance has sparked a wave of criticism, and recently former F1 driver and respected analyst Mark Surer didn't hold back. In an interview, Surer described Hamilton as acting like a spoiled child, pointing out that throughout most of his career, Lewis always had the fastest or one of the fastest cars on the grid, first with McLaren, and then, of course, during Mercedes' dominant years. According to Sir, when Hamilton no longer has the best car at his disposal, his weaknesses become far more apparent. The numbers back up this view. Ferrari currently sits third in the Constructors' Championship with 286 points, just 4 behind Mercedes. Among drivers, Hamilton is only 6th overall with 121 points, while his teammate Charles Leclerc has collected 165. That gap highlights how much Hamilton has struggled to consistently beat Leclerc in his very first season with the Scuderia. Sir went even further, comparing Hamilton directly with Fernando Alonso. He argued that Alonso has always been able to adapt to difficult situations, extracting every bit of performance out of any car, no matter how uncompetitive it was. Hamilton, on the other hand, has looked far less effective when not fighting at the front, despite his experience and past success. It's not the first time Hamilton has been questioned in this way. In recent years, we've already seen George Russell outshine him at Mercedes in certain moments. Now at Ferrari, the challenge is even tougher. Leclerc is not only quick and talented, but also deeply integrated with the team, giving him a natural edge over Hamilton as he learns his way inside the Italian squad. Still, many argue that Hamilton is not the only one at fault. The reality is that Ferrari itself continues to struggle. From questionable strategies to slow pit stops and cars that start strong but fade as races go on, the team has failed to provide a consistently competitive package. Even for a driver as decorated as Hamilton, shining under these circumstances is a monumental task. Another factor worth mentioning is the process of adaptation. After spending so many years with one team, transitioning to Ferrari is more than just learning how to handle a new car. It involves adjusting to a different culture, a new way of working with engineers, and dealing with the immense pressure that comes with driving for the most famous team in motorsport. The Ferrari badge carries a weight unlike anything else in F1, with constant media attention and fan expectations that can shake even the strongest drivers. The truth is, with a name like Hamilton, the scrutiny is always immense. Every missed podium becomes a headline, every small error is amplified, and every comparison with Leclerc, or with rivals in other teams, fuels the narrative that his glory days are behind him. But if history has shown us anything, it's that Lewis Hamilton thrives on challenges. Whether he can rise to this one remains to be seen, but this might just be one of the biggest tests of his entire career.
Hey friends, how's it going? We've got an important update from today's Formula One practice session, and it involves none other than Mercedes driver George Russell. With around 45 minutes left on the clock, Russell suffered a significant incident that completely changed the flow of the session. While pushing through one of the high-speed corners, Russell lost control of his car and went straight into the barriers. The impact was heavy, with the front wing of the W16 getting destroyed and the nose heavily damaged. Despite the severity of the crash, the Mercedes car kept running, and Russell managed to carefully bring it back to the pits for assessment. That alone was already a relief for the team, since a retirement in practice means losing valuable track time. Initially, the race control threw a yellow flag to warn drivers about the situation. However, due to the large amount of debris scattered across the track, this quickly escalated into a red flag, bringing the entire session to a halt. And here's the crucial point. Under F1 regulations, the session timer kept running, which means that all the teams lost effective practice minutes while marshals cleared the track. For the engineers, this was a painful setback, especially with such limited time left to prepare. Over the radio, Russell immediately reassured his crew that he was physically fine, but frustrated with the mistake. The team instructed him to drive slowly back to the pits, carefully managing the damaged car to avoid shedding more parts onto the circuit. Once back in the garage, Mercedes mechanics rushed to inspect the car, focusing first on replacing the destroyed front wing and checking if there was any hidden structural damage. The red flag didn't just hurt Mercedes, other teams were also impacted, especially those in the middle of long-run simulations or fine-tuning their qualifying setups. In total, nearly 15 minutes of effective running time were wasted, meaning some strategies and comparison programs had to be abandoned. In practice sessions, every lap counts, and missing that window can complicate the rest of the weekend. This incident also raises questions about Russell's current form and approach. Was this simply the result of pushing beyond the limit on a tricky circuit, or could it be connected to the pressure he's been under within Mercedes this season?
Remember, Russell has been trying to establish himself as the team leader for the future, especially with the team struggling to consistently match Red Bull and Ferrari. For fans watching, the crash added unexpected drama to what was otherwise a straightforward practice session. For Mercedes, though, it means more work late into the night to ensure Russell's car is fully ready for tomorrow's running. The hope is that the damage is restricted to the front end and doesn't force them into component changes that could complicate the weekend further.